Oh, man. You know, if there is one thing that Monday Night Raw is good for, is getting house chores done. I got more house chores done tonight during Raw than I have probably for the entirety of last week. Because I already knew that this show was going to be fucking boring. I seen some of the freaking, some of the stuff that was going to be on the show earlier in the week that I had no interest in whatsoever, like the Balor and a mystery opponent versus Lashley and fucking Lio Rush and Kurt Angle revealing his WrestleMania opponent. I just did not give a fuck about anything that they were advertising for this Monday, so I knew the show was going to be a fucking bomb. I knew it was going to be a disaster. I know I had to watch it anyway, so I can do a review on it because I actually enjoy doing these. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff done. I got most of my laundry done. I cleaned my carpet with an actual fucking deep cleaning rug cleaner that I bought. And I did all my bedding. I did everything you could possibly do. I washed almost everything in my room, curtains, everything. So thank you Monday Night Raw for allowing me to do that, since I literally had no interest in sitting down and actually paying attention to this god-awful show. And the shit that I did really pay attention to, I instantly regretted because it was just awful television. I don't know. I really don't know how anybody, and I know there's people out there that do, watch the show from start to finish, from the moment it starts with commercials and everything. I don't know how you people do it. I know there's idiots out there who thought tonight's show was a good show. Again, I don't know what show you're watching, man. What are you watching that I'm missing? Please fill me in, because I would love to be entertained on a Monday night. I would love to enjoy this show, but it's unenjoyable when you got a 3-hour show and there was one good segment, one decent segment, and one good match. And the match was ruined with stupidity at the end, because I'm tired of the same fucking type endings every single time for babyface wrestlers. They got this fucking infatuation with it, with getting distracted the minute somebody's music hits, even though there's nobody in sight. Instead of just finishing doing what they're doing, that they get distracted at the mere sound of entrance music. I don't fucking understand it, and it's getting a little bit lame. It's not like the Attitude Era, where back in the day, like, if you heard Stone Cold's music hit, you knew he was storming to the ring within fucking 5 seconds, so you knew you kind of had to take your attention off of whatever you were doing. But Brock Lesnar, the guy barely fucking comes to the show. You think he's gonna fucking step in the ring? He didn't even leave the stage. He fucking just sat there and smiled. And fucking Rollins just sitting there, Brock Lesnar's on the stage. And then he gets Claymore kicked. So you got your Royal Rumble winner, who doesn't feel like a fucking Royal Rumble winner, losing 3 weeks before WrestleMania. And I'm a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I'm on the Drew McIntyre bandwagon. Well, I don't really call it bandwagon. I've always liked him since he came back. But I'm on his team. And it just didn't make any sense for I'm not saying McIntyre should have lost, but it made no sense for Rollins to lose on the road to WrestleMania. It really didn't. Royal Rumble winners every single year are getting less and less important to the show. It doesn't even feel like we even had a fucking Royal Rumble this year. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this. It's like the Royal Rumble came and nobody gave a fuck. They lied about the fucking attendance, like I heard over the past weekend, all the WrestleMania numbers that they've been lying about over the last like 10 years. It's pathetic. And this show was the same. Absolutely fucking pathetic. Let's get into it and not waste any more time, because like I said, I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm only going there, honestly, like I said many times, for the tailgating, and I'm already starting to dread even fucking going, period. Like, I feel like going there, tailgating, and then just selling my ticket to somebody that's fucking doesn't have one. It's just they're looking to scalp off of somebody. Yeah, I'll sell it to you for half the price that it's worth, just so I don't have to sit through this fucking 10-hour abomination that we're gonna get. 17 matches rumored. Man, can't wait for that. 17 fucking matches. That's ridiculous. I don't even want to see 7. Give me 6 top quality matches, and I'll be fucking very satisfied, with a couple of things here and there between. Unfucking believable, man. 17 matches. Give me a fucking break. So the show's gonna start at like 4 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock, whatever, and it's gonna end at like midnight, 1 in the morning. I don't want to be sitting in MetLife Stadium till 1 in the fucking morning. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna wind up falling asleep during this shit. I'm fucking heated up, man. Let's just get into it, man. Raw starts with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming out, you know, doing their same shtick. Nothing fucking new here. I'm so sick of these fucking two clowns. I love Paul Heyman, but how many times can I hear him just come out and utter the same shit and his fucking Brock Lesnar? It's so nauseating to hear fucking over and over again. Lesnar just sits there, he bounces up and down like he's fucking, like it's Christmas Eve and he's about to get presents. He's all excited, smiling. Fucking Christ, man, I'm sick of seeing this shit, man. Just take the title off this fucking clown. Just give it to Rollins already so we can just move on. Fucking Christ, dude. The guy brings no value to the fucking show whatsoever. He comes out, he gets booed in Chicago. Ridiculous. Anyway, they come out, and Heyman's talking about how all the guys that are like Rollins, you know, talking about Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles and Finn Balor and how all the guys that are like Rollins, they were all, you know, hyped up to no end or whatever to beat Lesnar and yada yada yada. And the end result was the same. Brock Lesnar beat them all. Who fucking cares? Look, when Brock Lesnar wants to wrestle, I know he can wrestle, which is what pisses me off. Well, why does he have to fucking come for Mania and SummerSlam and then he's just gone for the rest? It's just nonsensical and it's ridiculous. And I'm a guy who doesn't think the champion needs to be on every show. I don't believe the champion should be on every single show every single week. You know, it's nice when he's not there sometimes so that when he is there it feels a little bit special, but dude, it's a little bit fucking ridiculous when the guy's gone for 3 months. That's a little bit overkill there, don't you think? When the fucking Universal title's probably over there collecting dust next to his fucking deer rifle. Ridiculous. He talks about how Rollins is crazy or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna lie, man, I barely paid attention to any of these fucking promos tonight because they're all so goddamn generic that you can't distinguish who's saying what. If you just put it in a monotone voice, you wouldn't know who the fuck was speaking the promo except for maybe Paul Heyman. If you get like a Drew McIntyre or a fucking Seth Rollins or any of these other guys and you just give me their promos written down on a piece of paper, I wouldn't know who the fuck's promo it is because they all sound the fucking same. And you want me to get excited about this shit. Ridiculous. Anyway, he talks about how Rollins is crazy for wanting to come face to face tonight with Lesnar on the same night that he's scheduled to wrestle Drew McIntyre, who Heyman says is a career killer, but he's not the career killer like Brock Lesnar is. You know, he's building up McIntyre a little bit, which is kind of nice. This prompts McIntyre to come out. He thanks Paul Heyman for finally getting the recognition that he deserves in this company. Because he certainly doesn't get it from Vince. Fucking sitting here and he's with Ziggler, and then he says he's going to go on his own, but then he's teaming with Bobby Lashley and fucking Baron Corbin for like the better half of what, 3-4 months? For what reason? I still don't know. I have no idea. He tells Lesnar that he needs to find a new opponent for WrestleMania because after tonight there won't be anything left of Rollins. And like I said, everybody says this same type of shit every single week. Nobody throws any extra flavor on it. McIntyre sometimes used to cut some decent promos and throw some extra flavor, but recently everybody's been sounding the fucking same. The only difference is their voice and who they're talking about. Otherwise, everybody just sounds exactly the same. Monotone, scripted, boring, generic, you fucking name it, they all sounded. Anyway, Rollins then comes out and he attacks McIntyre from behind with the chair, hits him in the back multiple times. He then charges in the ring, but Brock Lesnar retreats out of the ring while doing his, you know, his little smirky smile that he does while he's leaving. And Renee Young during this segment, as usual, fucking cringe. She's just yelling about how the Kingslayer is on fire, and she just does it in such a terrible way. Like, this woman adds nothing, and nobody's gonna fucking tell me different to the commentary table. I thought she was great on Talking Smack and Raw Talk or whatever, and backstage segments, but in the commentary role, this forced agenda with them just having to put a woman on the announce table just for the fucking fact of getting a woman on the announce table is sickening. She sucks at it. And she's got to go. I'm sorry. She's not good at this job. Bring in somebody else. Beth Phoenix is much better than Renee Young. At least Beth Phoenix is actually in the ring and knows what the fuck she's talking about. Renee Young she's just lost, and she just gets pretty much embarrassed by Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And Michael Cole is no better. So you're getting embarrassed by Michael Cole. My God. What happens here next? And yeah, and like I said, I'm going to continue to point out Renee Young's just god-awful flaws on commentary as long as she's on commentary until she gets better. If she gets better, I'll be the first one to admit it. But she's been on commentary now for a few months, and she's progressively getting worse with her oohs and her ahs. And I counted tonight. Well, at least I tried to keep count because some of the time I was, like I said, I was cleaning my fucking carpet, so I couldn't hear shit during matches. But I heard enough oohs and ahs tonight where I kept some count for Renee Young. Believe me, more than we need. Anyway, speaking of smiling, Finn Balor comes out, the Hanes underwear model, you know, doing his fucking thing, his shtick with his hands, and boring as fuck. This guy is so far off from what he used to be in NXT. Like I say it every week, and I can't take it anymore. This guy sucks. I can't get behind him. I'm not even a fan of him anymore. I pray to God that they do something with him very soon before I just literally start, like, wanting to change the channel when he comes out. He does nothing for me right now. He is god-awful boring. And he does nothing for me. And I'm sorry, if you still like Finn Balor, that's cool. You know, I don't hate the guy. But he hasn't done anything really since he came back from his injury. And that was almost 3 fucking years ago. Like it's time to change it up a little bit. Enough with the smiling every week, man. What are you? I don't understand what he's smiling about. The guy doesn't win, and then when he does, it doesn't either. It doesn't matter, or he wins a title and then it's instantly taken away from him anyway. So what the fuck are you smiling about, bro? Someone please explain to me. Anyway, the gimmick is just unbearable at the moment, and yeah, I just don't give a fuck what he's doing right now. Nothing interests me. And it is what it is. Anyway, he comes out, he's doing his whole thing. Real quick, people are saying that we might get him versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania with Demon versus Phenom or whatever. Look, I'm cool with that. Because just the entrances alone at Mania between the two of them would be fucking awesome. But the way Finn Balor's going right now, it's going to be kind of hard to take him serious against The Undertaker. I don't care if The Undertaker's fucking 52 or 152. Finn Balor is not credible on this television show. He's really not. And some people might be like, well, that's because he's small. Well, he was small in NXT too. He hasn't grown since NXT as far as size goes, and he was believable on that show no matter who he was going against. So don't give me that shit. He's just been booked so goddamn poorly that there's a little hope for him. Anyway, where the hell did I leave off, man? I'm freaking so lost in my damn notes. I'm just going on these tangents. So we come back from commercial. Balor's cutting a promo. Says he doesn't plan on being a former champion for long. Yeah, how did that work out for you when you relinquished the Universal title and then returned? It took you nearly 3 fucking years to get a title again. So I don't want to hear this. You don't plan on being a former champion for long because you were a former champion for almost 3 years. After you didn't even lose the Universal title, and then you never even really got a rematch until Roman Reigns won it. And then what happened? You got squashed by Roman Reigns. Anyway, congratulations. Anyway, he's quickly interrupted by Bobby Trashley, and Lio Rush makes some lame Irish leprechaun jokes about, because Balor was saying like Happy Late St. Patrick's Day or whatever, so he was saying some lame Irish jokes. Makes fun of Chicago for not winning a championship and says, you know, Bobby Lashley's showing them something they haven't seen in a while, and a championship. I just don't care. I don't care about any of this shit. I really don't. Balor says his partner wants to get his hands on Lashley and Lio Rush, and at this moment I'm honestly thinking like, fuck, man, it's gonna be Braun Strowman, and I'm just sitting there praying, please, Braun Strowman's music don't hit. And of course, you know, Braun Strowman's music hits, and I instantly got up and went to make a bowl of cereal at this point, because I just don't care. I don't care about Braun Strowman's character right now. I don't care about fucking Finn Balor. I sure as fuck don't care about Bobby Trashley or Lio Rush. This whole thing is just stupid. This is your Intercontinental title scene for WrestleMania. That's fantastic. That's really good. I don't know who cares about this, man. It's just sad. Anyway, in this match we get our first ooh and ah from Renee Young. You know, just adding so much substance to the commentary here. Nothing in this match of importance happens. The only good part was the chokeslam that Lio Rush got delivered to him at the end of this match. That's a pretty nice little spot. He picks him back up, gives him a running power slam. Bobby Lashley doesn't want to come down to make the save, so Strowman and Balor win, and nobody cares. Next, we're told that Ronda Rousey was fined for last week's actions of an undisclosed amount or whatever the fuck they said. Who cares? Why are they even mentioning this? Does any real fan care that a wrestler was quote-unquote fined for doing something? Who cares, dude? Seriously. Yeah, okay, she was fined. What does that do? That doesn't add anything to this whole Charlotte and Becky thing. Doesn't add anything to anything. Okay, she was fined. Big deal. Unless it's hindering her at WrestleMania in the triple threat match, don't even mention it. Just say disciplinary action was taken or something and just leave it at that. You don't even have to say that. Who cares? She beat up a fucking referee. Big deal. Triple H was on a weekly basis pedigreeing fucking Earl Hebner. When was he fined? Never. Ridiculous. Who gives a shit about this? We then see Ronda Rousey and her husband. They're arriving at the arena. Some stupid looking referee comes up. He's got security behind him. He says there's going to be extra security so Ronda doesn't do what she does last week. Blah blah blah. Ronda just says and then she just walks away. And between the referee, the security guards, and Ronda Rousey, and this whole little quick segment was just terrible acting all around. Awful acting. Everybody just sounded so I don't even know what I don't even know what word to use here. They just sounded so fucking shit. They just like they didn't even want to be there. Like Ronda Rousey, sometimes I feel like she tries too fucking hard to play up whatever role or whatever, you know, whatever she's trying to do in that particular scene, and sometimes she just overdoes it and it comes off very poor, and this is one of those moments, at least in my opinion. But I do like this Ronda Rousey better than babyface Ronda Rousey, because at least this one I feel like this is more the natural of her compared to her smiling everywhere and shaking everybody's fucking hands. We get a moment for a piss break here with Alexa Bliss. She says something that I didn't pay attention to, and then randomly just tells Cole to take it away, and they show us graphics of all the confirmed matches that we have for WrestleMania. I don't know why this was necessary. I did absolutely nothing. It just reminded me that there's too many matches on the card. We go back to Bliss. She says that she is the only one worthy of being the host of a card this good. And I don't know about that, sweetheart, but this card really isn't all that impressive. Some matches are not bad, but if you add in the build and this road to WrestleMania, then it's really lackluster. And yeah. So anyway, she says, I've always wanted to say this, and then she says, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. Elias is her guest. She guarantees him that nobody will interrupt his big announcement that he has tonight, since her and him tend to get interrupted every time. His big announcement was that he's the headlining musical act at WrestleMania. I don't know who cares about this. It didn't do anything for him last year when he came out and interrupted John Cena and faked everybody out like he was the Undertaker, and then John Cena completely destroyed him in about 2 minutes. Just to have Undertaker come out and totally destroy John Cena in about 4 minutes. So when you get destroyed by somebody who is then destroyed by somebody else in about 2 seconds or whatever, how does that make you look? You know, being on the complete lower end of everything. You look like a fucking asshole. And that's exactly what Elias looked like last year. Very disappointing. He then says that last year was the reason why everyone feels that they can interrupt him and blah blah blah. And then he makes a pretty funny insult to the Chicago crowd regarding the Bears and game-winning field goals. He got a nice little reaction out of him. I kind of laughed at it a little bit, even though I don't really watch the NFL anymore because it's just the rules and everything. You know, I don't even want to get into it. It's not what it used to be whatsoever. We'll just leave it at that. And I don't really watch it as much as I used to. We're then interrupted anyway by No Way Jose and the conga line. And for some reason, ladies and gentlemen, the first two people in the conga line are Tucker and Otis. Yes, you heard that right, correctly. Heavy Machinery was leading the conga line of No Way Jose. Some great stuff they're being booked to do, isn't it? Man, they're really breaking some ground in the tag team division, man. They're really just trailblazers. Oh, man. And, you know, I like Otis and his, you know, the whole thing where he's going, tuck it. It's funny, but I don't want to see it every time that they're on TV, unless it's like, you know, if they're being funny, but they're also being serious at the same time, challenging, you know, actual teams and vying for a fucking shot at the tag team championships, I'd be fine with that. But coming out with No Way Jose's fucking conga line, for what reason? For what reason? Didn't the Ascension just get done insulting them, and now they're just going out and just looking like buffoons again by going out with the conga line? Anyway, Jose is disguised for some reason in his own conga line. He has a mask on. He jumps Elias from behind, takes the mask off, reveals that it's him, still looking like a neon green King Ezekiel from The Walking Dead. You know, I'm still trying to figure out, you know, shouldn't he be worried about the Whisperers interrupting the fair next Sunday on The Walking Dead? Shouldn't he be worried about that and not worried about attacking Elias from behind on the road to fucking WrestleMania? I think so. I'm pretty sure that fair is a little bit more important, especially now that Michonne has decided that she's going to show her face after so many years over at the Kingdom. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. If you want to talk The Walking Dead with me, I can talk about The Walking Dead all day, whenever you want. But now it's not the time, because we're talking about this god-awful show known as Monday Night Raw. Elias hits a drift away, because this turned into a match for some reason. And Elias hits a drift away, and he wins. If he would have lost here to No Way Jose, I'm going to tell you right now, I promise you, I would have fast-forwarded through every single Elias segment until he won a championship from here on out, if he would have lost to No Way Jose tonight on Raw. Just throwing that out there. Kurt Angle's out next. Let me get some of the worst news of the night. He comes out and he's going to talk about his farewell WrestleMania opponent and who it will be. And we've had rumors of The Undertaker. We've had rumors of John Cena. Shelton Benjamin challenged him on Twitter, which Kurt Angle accepted. But apparently, that's not what we're going to get. So that just goes to show you that Kurt Angle did not actually choose his opponent, even though he says in this promo that he chose who he chose here. And who he chose was Busboy Corbin. That's right. Everybody's favorite fucking Applebee's waiter, Baron Corbin. That's who he chose as his last match for WrestleMania. Baron Corbin. The guy who's not had one memorable match in his entire career. Can you think of one Baron Corbin match that sticks out to you? Because I can't. The only match that I can even think of that sticks out was because of how terrible it was. And that was the one that he had with Dean Ambrose in the pre-show of WrestleMania 33. That match was so terrible. And the only reason I remember is because I think it was on the USA Network. They were showing the pre-show, and I was watching it in the living room. I stopped at my parents' house, and we were all watching it there. And even my dad was like, man, this is terrible. He's like, this is supposed to be their biggest show of the year, and then this is one of the first matches that you're going to see. So, that's why I remember that. So, yeah, Baron Corbin going to be his last opponent. Yeah, whatever, dude. This is fucking so stupid, dude. So, you're going to tell me that everybody else got to choose their last... Or, you know, Undertaker gets to choose his WrestleMania opponent every year. Shawn Michaels got to choose who he retired against. Ric Flair got to choose. Fucking so on and so forth. And you're going to tell me Kurt Angle can't have this privilege of choosing who he goes against? They got to put him against Baron fucking Corbin? The only thing I can think of is that it might change between now and then. Because it's something that happens later on in the night. And we'll talk about it as we get there. So I'm hoping that this changes. But knowing WWE, it's not going to change. And we're going to get Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle. Oh man, Kurt Angle says he'd be the happiest man alive if he can tap out Baron Corbin at WrestleMania, since he's been making his life a living hell ever since he became the general manager. I'd be the happiest man alive if both of these guys miss their flights to MetLife Stadium and we don't get this match at all, if it is indeed going to stay Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle. Because I don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it. This whole farewell tour right now is a fucking joke. And it just pisses me off because Kurt Angle's great and he's given us so many great memories, and if this is how he's going to go out, I don't want to see it. We then get our second, third, and fourth ooh, ah from Renee Young, adding all the substance again to the commentary team. She's so great. We get Kurt Angle versus Chad Gable. A pretty good match. Probably went a little bit longer than it needed to. But again, not a bad match. I'd much rather have seen this be the match at Mania than what we might be getting. This match ended when Gable went for a moonsault off the top, kind of like how Kurt Angle used to do. If there's one Kurt Angle memory that sticks in my head pretty good is when he did the moonsault off the top of the cage in that match against Chris Benoit where he missed and just kind of ate shit. Man, that'll be in my head for the rest of my life, man. Anyway, so Chad Gable tries to do a Kurt Angle moonsault. He misses. Kurt Angle gets puts him in the ankle lock, does the leg vine around him, and Chad Gable taps out. And everybody's saying that Kurt Angle's burying young talent. I don't see it that way right now. I just see it as some of these guys who really looked up to Kurt Angle just paying their respects and wanting to have matches with him as he goes away, and they want to make him look good, and they do. And I don't see anything wrong with that. At the end of the match, they shook hands. We then got interrupted by Baron Corbin. I don't know why. You know, he just had to come out and he says some irrelevant bullshit talking about how he's going to embarrass Kurt Angle in his last match. And whatever, man. I don't care about this whatsoever. Baron Corbin is so garbage. I don't want to see it. Anyway, next we get Sasha and Bayley. They come out. Then we go to commercial. We come back from commercial, and we get Baron Corbin again. Don't know why. He's talking to the Revival in the back. Apollo Crews comes up, challenges him to a match. He keeps trying to insult Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews will say yes or no. He finally says yes. And he says, see, that's why nobody likes you, because you're so difficult. And then Corbin goes over to Revival. He says, well, these guys like me. And, of course, they say hell no, and they walk away. I don't know who the hell would like Baron Corbin. Anyway, we go... Actually, after this, we get Michael Cole telling us that there's fan backlash about Kurt Angle choosing Baron Corbin, which, yeah, there was, and I would believe that even if I didn't see it. And who wouldn't be mad? And then he said that Baron Corbin responded to fans by saying Kurt Angle needs to buy a bigger boat so he can float on the tears of the fans. I don't really think this was a Baron Corbin remark as much as it feels like it was a Vince McMahon quote. Just to troll the fans because he just fucking loves insulting his fan base for some reason. Because we never get anything that is it's not even getting what we want. It's just we don't want so much anything in particular. We just want entertaining shows. We don't want our intelligence insulted every week. You know, if you want, if you want to have some of our favorites lose, that's fine. But at least make the fucking shit compelling. Nothing is compelling at all, and that's why people complain. But this just felt like a Vince McMahon remark, and it is what it is, man. We're back to Banks and Bayley. They're in the ring. Charlie Caruso's on the case. Says they seem to be ducking the Iconics challenge. Bayley says this is not true, and that they'll be making a special appearance on SmackDown tomorrow night. It's a little bit late for that, but I guess better late than never. I mean, they should have been on SmackDown already at least once, but fuck, what do I know, right? Just some asshole on YouTube doing a review. They're interrupted by Natalya and Beth Phoenix. They were saying something I couldn't hear. I was deep cleaning my carpet at this time because the tag team titles in the women's division mean nothing to me. This is nothing of importance. I don't care about any of this. Sasha Banks and Bayley have one of the worst tag team names I've ever fucking heard. The Hug and Balls Connection. I mean, it's like they're trying to make, you're trying to, feed off or, the Rock and Sock Connection or whatever, but it's just the Hug and Balls. It just sounds so stupid. You're going to tell me that this is how lazy the creative team is, that they couldn't take 20 fucking minutes to come up with a better name than that. They probably just thought of something right off the bat, like, oh, she hugs, she's the boss, there you go. And if Sasha and Bayley came up with this name, then I would no longer allow them to have creative control over anything of their characters ever again, because it's god-awful. And it makes me cringe every time I hear it. I don't want to hear it anymore, but we're going to, so whatever. Like I said, I was cleaning my carpet, so I didn't hear anything they were saying. I'm pretty certain that they challenged them for a match at Mania, because after they talked, they started getting a little physical. Beth Phoenix wound up throwing Bayley down. This turns into a one-on-one match when we come back from commercial between Bayley and Natalya. This didn't last long because, of course, Nia Jax and Tamina had to come out and interrupt it. We all knew it was coming. But like I said, I just can't get into this. The whole women's tag team title stuff, it just feels so fucking forced. And it just feels extremely unimportant, and they're just trying to fill an agenda for no reason. I'm not saying that the tag titles are unnecessary. They're just unnecessary right now. There's not enough women on the roster to make it feel exciting. They're just throwing people together randomly. And it's not exciting, man. It's really not. I think it was done way too early. And yeah, I mean, if the women's division was so important, they'd be doing a Evolution 2 this year, right? But from what the rumors are saying, they're not doing an Evolution 2, and that was a one-time only thing. So yeah, great job there. Anyway, so we had Nia Jax, Tamina come out. Tamina super kicked somebody on the outside. Who cares who it was? So obviously we're getting a multi-woman tag team title match at WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is no longer about who's the best. It's all about just getting everybody on the card, and multi-man and multi-woman mania running wild to put everybody on the card just for the sake of getting them on the card. So instead of not putting them on the card, and then they can use that as motivation to get better next year so that they do get on the card. Oh, let's just throw everybody on the card. That way everybody knows that they don't really have to work that hard to get on WrestleMania's card. They just have to be there, and we'll throw them in, whether it's the Battle Royal or some meaningless fucking multi-woman or multi-man tag team match for some worthless fucking titles. That's all. You know, God forbid people actually had to, be relevant to be on the WrestleMania card like they used to have to be back in the day. You know? You didn't just see anybody on the WrestleMania card. If you weren't relevant, you were not on the card. And then that's just the way it is. So, whatever, man. Moving on here. Next we get Mojo Rawley. So, I don't even know what you want me to say to this, man. We haven't seen this guy in like 5 weeks, and we get him talking into a mirror again, yelling. I don't know how anybody can care. It's not that maybe Mojo Rawley has something. I doubt he does, but I mean, how are we supposed to care about this guy when we see him for maybe 2 or 3 weeks? He's yelling in the mirror, it's something kind of interesting, like what the hell is he doing? But then we don't see him for like 5 or 6 weeks, and then we see him again. I mean, the company's so ass backwards, especially Monday Night Raw. I don't understand how we're supposed to get into this guy when it's on and off, just like everybody else, on and off, on and off, on and off, and nothing is consistent and nothing makes sense. Moving on, because I just want to get through this, man. This fucking Raw is god awful. Next we get Ricochet versus Jinder Mahal. Yes, the guy that used to be the WWE champion. We didn't get him last week, so we had to get him this week. Jinder Mahal. And again, don't forget that this guy was a former WWE champion, because they sure as fuck did not let us forget it on commentary. Michael Cole mentioned that Jinder Mahal was the WWE champion at least 37 times tonight. Corey Graves reminded us about 6 times, and I think Renee Young might have added in 2, but I tried to close my ears when she's speaking, so I don't really know if she mentioned it. But here we are all trying to forget that he was champion, and they just keep reminding us, and I understand why they did it. They're trying to make Ricochet look good, like he beat a former WWE champion, but he wasn't the WWE champion because he was the best. He was the champion because they were trying to fill an agenda where they were trying to get more viewers over in India, even though he's not even from fucking India. He was born in Canada, and when he went to India, it was a total flop, and then they eventually finally took the WWE championship off of him and gave it to AJ Styles, and yeah. But just remember, in that reign of terror he beat Nakamura twice, clean, and Randy Orton like 4 fucking times, with one of them being with the help of the Great Khali. Don't forget it, people. Battleground 2017. You don't believe me it was awful? I dare to go watch it. Ridiculous. Anyway, Ricochet wins Who cares? Ricochet's great and all, but this doesn't do anything for him. I'm sure. Or I'm positive it didn't. So, moving on. Ronda Rousey versus Dana Brooke. So, let me just refresh you guys on what's going on tonight. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We have now gotten No Way Jose, Mojo fucking Rawley, Jinder fucking Mahal, and now Dana fucking Brooke. 4 absolute irrelevant roster space people on one show on the road to WrestleMania in meaningless matches. Well, Mojo Rawley wasn't in a match, but the other 3 were. We're supposed to be getting excited for WrestleMania, yet we get these. This is why this show needs to go back to 2 hours. If this show was 2 hours, we wouldn't be getting this trash. This is time filler and unnecessary. And people think it's a good idea for the show to be 3 hours. People still think it's a good idea for this show to be 3 hours long. I ask you why. Why is it a good idea? Some people probably thought this show was a good show. I don't know what they were watching, but guarantee there's somebody out there that thought this show was probably fucking great. Anyway, we go to commercial after Ronda Rousey makes our entrance. We come back from commercial. Oh, by the way, when we were in commercial, we got a commercial about Pepsi. It was one of the worst commercials I've ever seen. A bunch of people in a diner, and instead of saying okay, they were saying like "okay" or some stupid. I sort of go watch the commercial and you'll understand. I'll never buy Pepsi ever again. Not that I ever buy it anyway, because it's fucking terrible soda. The only thing good that Pepsi makes is Code Red Mountain Dew and the Baja Blast at Taco Bell. Otherwise, Pepsi can suck a dick, and Coke is much better. And after seeing this commercial, I wouldn't buy Pepsi if it was 50 cents for a 12-pack and I was having a barbecue tomorrow. Sorry. But I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but it was just a commercial that was just so out of place and terrible that I felt like I had to mention it here. Anyway, we come back from commercial. Anyway, we come back from commercial. We get Rollins in the back getting interviewed, and again, I don't care. If you took anybody else saying this interview, you wouldn't tell the difference because everybody sounds the same. He said how he's gonna burn Suplex City to the ground. Yeah, okay, because Samoa Joe never said that. Braun Strowman never said it. AJ Styles never said that. So on and so forth. Same shit, different person. Who cares? And I don't understand why we keep going to commercial with something on, something happens, that's coming up. Then we go to commercial, then we come back, and they're not showing that. They're showing something different, and then they just bleed back into what they were originally doing. And I don't understand why they do that, because it kind of takes you out of it for a second. But after Rollins, we get a backstage interview now with Dana Brooke. Somebody thought that it was a good idea to give this woman mic time. I don't know why somebody thought this was a good idea, but I mean, I don't know. Somebody thought it was a good idea. I don't know why, but she reminds us again that we're indeed on the road to WrestleMania, and my God, at this point, I'm trying to forget. I'm thinking we're on the road to fucking Battleground or Extreme Rules, because this shit is terrible. And during this match, which was like 10 seconds long, we get 2 more oohs and ahs from Renee Young. Again, adding that substance to the commentary team. She's so great. Like I said, this match lasted about as long as my sexual encounters. Oh man, but anyway, on a serious note, man, this match, the fact that it lasted 10 seconds, what was the point of this match? After the match, she had the armbar, she tapped her out, and she refused to let it go. A bunch of referees come down, they try to break it up. She pushes one down, she goes outside the ring, she's talking to her husband who's sitting front row. Those goofy security guards come down, they try and separate Ronda, even though she's not really doing anything at the moment. She smacks one of them, knocks him on the ground, starts punching him in the face and in the gut. Her husband then pulls her over the barricade, and they pretty much leave through the crowd. It is what it is, man, I'm sure. And then Cole says they're going to get fined again. Who cares? I don't. I mean, and before this, after Ronda Rousey knocked down that first security guard, her husband actually struck one of them with a forearm and punched him in the face pretty much. And that's pretty much how that segment ended. Nothing really that great here. Next we got Corbin versus Cruz. And again, you know, Cole. This is where Cole pretty much mentioned the backlash from the fans, but we already went over that. But this is why I said that I'm not sure if we're actually going to get Corbin versus Angle, because Corbin loses here. He loses to Apollo Crews via a roll-up. So if Kurt Angle beat Crews last week clean, and Crews beat Corbin this week clean, what the fuck makes us think that Corbin can beat Angle? Seriously, man, this shit doesn't make any sense. But knowing them, they're still gonna go through with it. It just doesn't make any sense. I hope they change it somehow. You know, do the Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin next week on Raw, and just get it over with. And I'm pretty sure, haven't we seen Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle on a Raw like 2 or 3 months ago? Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, still, who cares? Excuse me. I feel like I gotta sneeze. Anyway, what's next here? We got Batista. He's live via satellite. Cole asks him why he wants this match with Triple H so bad, and Batista is pretty much talking about how Triple H has held him down, even back before the days of Evolution. Says Triple H has always been hiding behind people, and he brings up DX. He obviously brings up Evolution. He probably could have brought up more like Stephanie and fucking whatever else. His sledgehammer, his conniving ways. And this kind of, it's funny because just last night I was watching this YouTube video, which I've seen 100 times already, but it's funny. It's called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, and if you've never seen it, just type in YouTube, type in Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. It's basically like a little funny documentary fan-made thing about Triple H's career, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious. If you've never seen it before, I highly recommend you to go watch it, because you'll get a blast out of it. It pretty much talks about Triple H all the way from his debut in '95 when he was the rich, snobby, preppy guy, all the way up until just after his WrestleMania 30 match with Daniel Bryan, and it's fucking fantastic. And Batista was bringing up some of the stuff in this that was reminding me of that, talking about how he was always hiding behind people, and he was never really the best. He just always cheated or whatever. He was conniving and manipulating. And he says, you know, how do you think he got the nickname Cerebral Assassin? He's always, you know, messing with people. He's always talking down to people. He pretty much was only building Batista up to be his muscle. And then talked about how Triple H didn't see him as a big star, and that's why he left in 2010. And then look at him now; he's a big movie star. And you know, you really can't argue with it. I mean, he ain't lying. But this should be, you know, this has me intrigued of all the things going in. He then talks about how, or Cole says, how Triple H has helped him in his career, and how he's helped all the NXT guys, and then Batista cuts him off and basically just goes off and says how Triple H has them all wrapped up, believing all his garbage, and that he hopes Vince wakes up one day and realizes how bad Triple H is for the business and fires his ass. And this is where I disagree with Batista, just in this little segment here. I kind of wish that Vince would wake up and fire his own ass, and let Triple H take over, so we can try to get what we get on NXT on Monday Night Raw. And if we don't get that, then, you know, fuck them both. And there's just no hope for this company being anything of entertainment on Monday nights. Anyway, he then says that he hopes, like I said, Vince fires him and ends his professional career. And he says that he will personally end Triple H's in-ring career at WrestleMania. And then he pretty much yells and tells everybody to get the fuck out of his office. He's done with the bullshit. So this match has some intrigue, and this just goes to show you how important it is. And this only has 2 weeks of build, but it does show you how important it is when you have long-term building, or you have something to build off of from the past, which in about 5 to 10 years, WWE's not going to have anything to build off of, because everything is just either Roman Reigns, or they're dipping into the fucking cookie jar and pulling out legends. And in 10 years, these legends are going to be in their 60s, 70s. You ain't going to be able to do it anymore, and you're not going to be able to do the shit that they're doing now. You know, that long-term story building. They're not going to have the intrigue that they have now with these guys. Anyway, we're moving on here, and this is a match that's 16 years in the making, so it definitely has my interest, and it should be a decent match, and we'll see where it goes. We got 2 more Raws, I think, left until Mania. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We got Alexa Bliss for some reason approaching Braun Strowman, who's being interviewed in the back about the Saturday Night Live goons. Alexa Bliss says she doesn't want him going around beating people up or whatever. So she says to give her a week to make it right. Strowman agrees, but says if they disrespect him again, that they're going to know what the meaning of discipline is, and they're pretty much going to get these hands, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why this is an angle. These guys are nobodies. They're not even like high-end celebrities that anybody cares about. That can be even somewhat intriguing in a role at WrestleMania. So, again, I don't understand why this is happening. It doesn't need to happen, and I wish it wasn't. It's just more and more time added to WrestleMania's already overly long card here. So, whatever, man. Moving on, we got the main event here. McIntyre and Rollins. McIntyre's in the ring. He's cutting a promo. Ooh, excuse me. I'm tired here. McIntyre, like I said, is cutting a promo. Wasn't really listening. Like I said, these promos are all the same. Nobody really sounds unique or different anymore, aside from what their voice sounds like. Rollins then comes out. McIntyre meets him on the stage or on the ramp. They start brawling there. Eventually, the match begins. They return to the ring. And like I said, man, I know I'm not the only one that feels like Rollins didn't win the Royal Rumble. Like, he doesn't. The Royal Rumble. I mean, these guys and these girls that win the Royal Rumble, they just, after like 2 weeks after the pay-per-view, it's like they didn't even win. They don't feel important, and they should be the second most important thing on the show next to the champion. I don't get it, man. This is a pretty solid match. I decided not to take notes during this match and just try to remember everything off the top of my head because I wanted to actually enjoy or try to enjoy something on this show, and I had a gut feeling this match was actually going to be pretty good, which it was. Couple cool spots in this match. Rollins hit his little top rope superplex, trying to turn it into a Falcon Arrow. McIntyre tried to turn it into a suplex, and then Rollins recountered it back into the Falcon Arrow, got a close two. He had another spot where he did 2 suicide dives, and he ran back in the ring, ducked the clothesline, hit a sling blade, and then hit a super kick while McIntyre was on his knees. That got a close 2 count. Eventually, Rollins is looking to hit the curb stomp. And like I said earlier, Brock Lesnar's music hits. Of course, Rollins is distracted and confused because music reasons. Gets distracted, turns back around, eats a Claymore kick. And Drew McIntyre beats Seth Rollins. And look, I'm on the Drew McIntyre fan express. Like, really, I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre. I think he's great. He should be the Universal Champion sometime this year. But I don't really think Rollins needs to be losing on the road to WrestleMania. Especially when he's going against Brock Lesnar. I mean, it doesn't really look good. You kind of want him to look as strong as possible. And Rollins has not looked strong at all in this entire build since he won the Royal Rumble. He didn't even look strong winning the Royal Rumble, to tell you the God's honest truth. So Rollins hasn't really looked that good at all in quite a while. I mean, he did that whole Shield shit for 3 weeks, and that really fucking ruined his momentum again. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I see Rollins winning this match. The only reason I might see him winning this match is because they made a shirt that says Beast Slayer. And that would just be a kind of a waste, but then again, they probably already got enough people to buy the shirts that they're not worried about it anymore. But, yeah, man, I mean, I don't understand why these guys get distracted by me. I can understand back in the Attitude Era, if, like, Triple H was having a match with, like, say he was having a match with Kane, and he was feuding with Austin on the side, and then Stone Cold's music hit, you knew that as soon as that glass shattered that Stone Cold was probably going to make a beeline for the ring and be in there within, like, 3 seconds. So then it was understandable for someone to get distracted, but Brock Lesnar coming out, I mean, he barely shows up on the show, never mind in the ring, so if his music hit, I'll be like, Jesus is going to sit on top of the stage and bounce around, so I'm going to finish doing this curb stomp, pin McIntyre, and then turn my attention to the stage. Meanwhile, he's getting up, he's looking around as if Brock Lesnar is going to come running through the fucking crowd. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break. Yeah, man, this road to WrestleMania right now has just been very, very lackluster, man. Like it is every year's recently, and with the rumors of it being 17 matches long, it just doesn't have me any more exciting or any more excited. Yeah, the show pretty much went off the air with Brock Lesnar sitting there smiling on the stage. That's pretty much how it went off the air. If I had to give this a rating, and this is me being nice once again, I'm gonna give it the Bret Hart treatment and give it a 4 out of 10 because these shows are just not good, man. I'm gonna coin it Monday Night Rawful until it gets good, because that's exactly what it is. It's fucking awful. So yeah, man. If you want to see what a Road to WrestleMania looks like, that's exciting. Go back and watch the first Raw of 2001 all the way up until WrestleMania 17. That is a Road to WrestleMania. And it wasn't just a Stone Cold and Rock mess that was beautifully built up. It was everything, man. I mean, there was a match, I think, between the Right to Censor versus the APA and somebody. I don't remember who their tag partner was. I think it was Taz. And, yeah, and people were into that. People were into the Ivory and China match, and that match only lasted like 22 seconds. You know, you had the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian. You had The Undertaker and Triple H. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit with the whole, you know, Kurt Angle saying he didn't tap out thing. It's great stuff. Jericho and William Regal, where Chris Jericho pissed in William Regal's tea. I mean, everything was built up nicely. Everything felt somewhat important and had everybody's interest. The fans were into everything. So I don't understand why they can't do this here, man. It's like they're just lazy. They don't want to work to get people invested. They just want to slide by with as little effort as possible, and that's bullshit, man. Yeah, they're putting some effort into some of these, but then when they're putting too much effort into one thing where they're just overdoing it, like the whole Raw Women's Championship thing. They've done so much extra stuff in there that didn't need to be done, that they could have taken some of that and added it to something else that needs the attention. But yeah, man, that's all I got. I don't really have anything else, man. That's the end of the show. It's pretty much the end of the review. I'll most likely be doing a SmackDown review tomorrow. And if it's anything like last week's SmackDown, then I'm excited to see it, because last week's show was fucking fantastic. Randy Orton, AJ Styles, I can't wait to see what happens with these guys next. The whole Daniel Bryan and Kofi thing with the gauntlet match again tomorrow. So tomorrow night should be a pretty good show. Looking forward to it, but that's all I got for tonight. And yeah, man, if you liked it, hit that like button, because it helps out. You know, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. You know, I try to post videos every week, and I'll be doing probably a 2K20 wish list of what I hope is in the game very, very soon, as well as revealing my custom WrestleMania arena for those who are interested in stuff like that. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. If you're into some video game stuff, I'll be making other video game stuff pretty soon, but that's all I got for tonight, guys, and until tomorrow on SmackDown, you guys have a great night, and yeah, see you tomorrow for SmackDown. Peace out.